Today, I'm going to show you how to use Claude Code to build and deploy your first website without any coding experience or Claude Code experience required. I'm going to explain every concept you need to understand to make a website, all the way from developing it on your own computer to getting a publicly accessible, beautiful website on your own domain. By the end of this video, even if you've never built a website or written a line of code, you'll be able to make your own website or a business's website or a client's website with Claude Code. The best part is that we're not going to write any code ourselves. Claude Code is going to do everything for us. Let's get into it. Before we get started, there's a few concepts that you guys will need to be aware of. The first concept you need to be aware of is Git, which is a version control system which has become the standard for any application ever made today. If you've ever been on the website GitHub, what it is a website on which you can host your Git repository. And so we're going to need to have you make a GitHub account and install Git if you haven't done those already. So Prerequisite 1, I want you to install Git, which if you go to this website, git-sem.com/install, you'll see instructions for Windows, Mac, and Linux. And then if you've never used GitHub, you need to go on GitHub and make a GitHub account. When you make a website, you need some way to deploy the website. And the way in which we will deploy the website, where you can think of the word deploy as meaning get this website on the internet somewhere, is using GitHub Pages. And the specific framework that we are going to use to create this website is a framework called Astro. So again, you don't need to know in very much detail how Astro works. I'm just going to show you in natural language how to get Claude Code to a point where it does what it needs to do, because it's a very smart tool that can make decisions by itself. So next, I'm going to open up Claude Code, and I'm going to ask it the following. I want you to help me make a website. I want to make it with Astro. I want it to use the most recent version of Astro. The purpose of this site is to be my own personal site. I also want you to create instructions in a README on how to deploy the website with GitHub Pages and how to set up a remote on GitHub, as if I don't really know that much about deploying websites. I want to use as the initial basis for the website my current website, but I want to change a lot of the content on it. First, one of the things that I want to feature is my YouTube channel, which you can study with YTDLP. And I no longer work at Zelle, so I don't want to feature that anymore. But you should grab my CV from the website. You should include this project that I'm working on and mention that it has been supported by Emergent Ventures. And you should also mention this. First, I just want you to get the content on the site, and then we'll work on how to design it. All right, so I've sort of set up how I want to get the website started. And one thing to notice is that usually, if you've watched some of my other videos, I'll recommend that you initially start in plan mode before letting Claude Code do anything. But in this situation, I expected Claude Code to be able to do this like right away without much trouble. So I'm not too concerned about needing to do plan mode first. The other thing to mention is that I'm just having it get all the content on my website first. And then what I'm going to do is sort of circle back and fix the design of the website. But even the design of the website, I'm going to fix that with just natural language. So specifically, what I'm going to do is use this front-end design skill to design the website to look attractive, a little bit better, and to not just look like a generic AI website. So right now, what Claude Code is doing is it's researching about me using a bunch of different sources that I gave it for it to learn a little bit about me. So, for example, I have this project where I create economics news, conference listings, and listings of all economics job market candidates in one place. And I've won a reasonably prestigious award grant for this project. So that's one thing I want to include. I also wanted to include my AI consulting business on my personal site. And actually, another thing that I'm going to ask it to include, which I forgot about, is my school server where I help people learn how to use agentic coding tools. So I'm definitely going to add this because that's an important piece of context about me. So if you're making your own site, you can give these materials to Claude Code yourself just by speaking to it, or you can point it at the website and it'll pick up whatever relevant details it needs to from the website itself. Can you also include information about this school server? That's another important piece of information about me. And here is the resume. For some reason, it wasn't able to find the PDF, so I gave it the specific URL. Okay, so what we see here is that it started installing these dependencies in order to make an Astro site by itself without me needing to instruct it on what sort of packages or programs are needed to make this Astro site. So let me actually just step back a little bit and talk about Astro. It's just a framework to make what are called static sites. That's really all you need to know. Like you can think of a static site as just being a less complicated site, which is just HTML, CSS, some JavaScript. I know that's still a little bit technical, trying to avoid using technical terms as much as possible, but it's hard to get away from it completely. So you can look through here and see there's all sorts of themes that people have already made for different kinds of Astro sites. So like this guy, he's got a bunch of themes here. And then there's another bunch of themes. We're not going to use any of these. We're just going to ask Claude Code to basically make the themes ourselves. And the way we're going to do that is we'll use this front end design skill and we'll basically just point it at some websites whose design that we like. It's going to take some pictures of the website and then it'll make it exactly how we want it. That's it. All right. So it completed, but all right. So it completed and it's given me instructions on how to preview this locally. So if you didn't know how to view the website locally, it just tells you directly how to do that. Now, one possibility is that on your computer, you may not have this program NPM, which stands for Node Package Manager, available. If that's the case, you need to go to this site, nodejs.org/en/download, and follow the instructions here to download this program for your operating system, whether Windows, Mac OS, Linux, or whatever that is. Aches too. You can also follow this tutorial. All right, so let's see if it runs now. All right, and now it says to go to this localhost 4321. So what does that mean? Localhost is just saying your computer, and then 4321 is a port, which is kind of like a location on your computer. So I'm going to copy that. Okay, so this is the site. It's not bad, but obviously there are dimensions here to improve, right? On the design, it doesn't have a picture of me on here, so there's things I'd like to improve. Can you grab my profile picture from my YouTube channel with YTDLP and include it prominently? And let me see if there are other sort of problematic things on here. I don't like this skills section. It's a little bit too resume-y. And this ended in 2025, so I should put that there. Also, my tenure at Zelle ended in October of 2025, so maybe just put until 2025. Get rid of the skills section. I don't want that. All these links look good, though. I think that goes to my actual Twitter. Nice. and see if you can take screenshots of all the different websites and projects. And for my YouTube channel, see if you can embed it. So let's see if it's able to do that. I don't really know. Oh, yeah. Use the Claude in Chrome MCP. All right. So it's opening up this web page. Let's see if it can take a screenshot of the site to use as an image. Now it's going to a different website. My AI consulting site is going to take a screenshot of that. So just as context, what you heard me mention was this plugin, Claude in Chrome, which lets Claude work in your actual Chrome browser. But what it's using in fact to take the screenshots is this plugin, which is the Compound Engineering plugin. I do recommend that you guys install this plugin. I'm going to make videos about it in the future, but it does a really good job of sort of turning the process of using Claude Code into something that makes each unit of engineering work easier, not harder. And so inside this plugin, there's a utility called Playwright, which can be used to take the screenshots. I think that's something I've noticed in the past is that Claude in Chrome can take screenshots to read a website, but then it won't actually be able to use those screenshots like on your computer. But the Playwright one, which comes with Compound Engineering, can do that. So we see here that it's taking pictures of all these different projects of mine, the YouTube channel, etc., and then it's grabbing them and putting them right here where I need them to have it. All right, so it finished. We see it got a picture of me. It's got my YouTube channel and some videos. Let's see if that works. Yeah. So that goes to the video link. It's got this project, this project, this project. It doesn't have a screenshot for this one. Let's just take a screenshot really fast. Can you also include the screenshot I just took for the Payload newsletter plugin? You can grab it from my desktop folder. All right, so we've got the website with all the information I want, but I want to change it up a little bit. There's 3 parts of what I do that are more important than the other things, in my opinion. It's the YouTube channel, the AI MBA, and content quant. And then I want to change this description a little bit. So I want to ask Claude how I should go about changing this. Oh yeah, here's an important step. Can you make an initial Git repository and commit it? So again, you don't need to know what Git is, but you need to tell Claude to help you make a Git repository with all this code that it's making. Git can be a very complicated, very sophisticated system with a lot of valuable features. We don't need to know any of that. We're just going to ask Claude to make the Git repository for us. So really, you should do this step at the beginning, but right now is okay. So if I do the command now git status, it says on branch main, which you can think of as like the main sort of version of the website. And there are no files that we haven't saved yet. So now we have the basic structure of the site outlined. And the next thing I want to do now is to start working on the design a little bit. So what I want you guys to do is to go here, go /plugin, and then in marketplaces, you should see this Claude plugins official. So we'll update that. And then when you come in here, you should be able to browse the plugins. And if you don't have this plugin installed, the front end design plugin, then I want you to install it. So for example, if I wanted to install this one, it would look like this: install for you, install for all, or whatever. I don't need to install that one, so I'm not going to do that. But if you haven't installed the front end design plugin, then make sure to do that. And so now let's go through the design process. I want you to help me use the front end design plugin to change the design of this website. Okay, that's interesting. So it started using a different front end design plugin. This is new. It looks like this compound engineering plugin now also contains something to make front end designs. So I take back what I was saying earlier. All you need to do is just have this compound engineering plugin installed, which is something that I had already told you to do. So actually, let me grab that. Let's say 4. So that. So I had started a new Claude session, and so it's going and exploring my site again, just seeing what's in there, and then let's see how it works. I actually don't know what's going to happen. All right, so it found the site with Claude and Chrome, took some screenshots, and now it's giving me some suggestions of directions that I might want to go in. Let's go with retro-futuristic. Let's see what happens. All right. It finished the redesign. Let's see what happened. All right. That's something, It's kind of interesting. Wow. All right. I don't mind this at all. It's kind of interesting. Fuck it. Let's just go with this. Okay. So I do have some changes I want made. I like the design. I want to make some structural changes though. I want to make much more prominent, like maybe that people can see it even without scrolling down. Um, the YouTube, the AI MBA, and content quant projects. Like maybe we should give a different name for those because those are really core to my identity. And then we can have other stuff like Econ Now, local CMS, and the newsletter plugin, maybe in a distinct like projects section. Can you suggest a redesign for that? So in this situation, I'm using workflows plan, which is something that comes with compound engineering because um, in this case, I sort of want to see what it does before it does it. And so if you use plan mode, it's not going to make changes initially. It'll tell you what it suggests doing, and then you can give feedback and change what you decide it does. But the other cool thing to notice is that we haven't written any code by hand. All of this is just happening automatically without us needing to know actually anything about coding. We can just sort of use natural language, and where you get stuck, like there's some command you don't know how to do, you can just ask Claude Code to help you out. All right, so the plan is completed. Let's take a look at it. So here's what it says. Currently, all 5 projects are mixed in a single active project section. This varies the core business activities. So hero, new core systems section, and transmissions, projects. Looks good enough to me. Let's just have it, try it, and then see what happens. So with the compound engineering plugin, you have options of what you can do next. You can deepen the plan. You can have some reviewing sub agents review the plan. I just want to have it try to implement the plan and see what happens. So let's try that out. All right. So it's coming along, but there's some fine tuning that I want to sort of do manually. So I'm asking, can you put the projects in tabs which open their cards? And then can you move what I do above the socials section? Move socials above system history and rename history system history to background. Rename rename transmissions to YouTube. Change out broadcasting for I make videos on. And have tabs with 4 tabs: opinions, interviews with economists, Claude Code tutorials, live demos. For the first one, use the only Claude skill you need. For the second one, use the NYU Stern Econ Prof interview. And for the third one, I automated a local newsletter with Claude Code. So actually 3 tabs. All right, this is getting better. So I like that. So you got YouTube, the community, consulting. It looks good. Commit all the changes. So when you finish, all I want you to do is to say commit all the changes, which is basically telling Claude to use Git to save everything you've done. Next, what I want you to do is go to GitHub and click here, new, and then as the owner, choose your username. For visibility here, I want you to choose private. And for the repository name, I'm just going to say personal site. Okay, personal site is available. Make sure to leave all of these alone. Definitely don't touch that. And then just say create repository. All right, then you'll get a page that looks like this. Now, if you haven't used Git before, then one thing you'll have to do, I should have said this earlier, is I want you to help me set up Git for the first time, but probably Claude Code will actually do that automatically. So going back here, all I want you to do is copy this. Okay, copy it, and then just tell Claude Code, push to this remote, and then it's going to get your website now onto GitHub. So if we refresh here, now we're going to see this whole website. So now let's go back here and ask Claude, how do I deploy this to GitHub Pages? So that's what we're going to need to be able to see this somewhere on the visible internet. So right now, Claude is doing various things in order to get it deployed on some website. I have an understanding of what's going on. You don't really need to have any understanding. You just ask Claude what you want it to do and then sit back and let it happen. But basically, it's setting up some configuration files that are needed in order for this deploy to GitHub Pages to work properly. And then once it's done these changes, it will commit and push the changes itself. But if you ever notice Claude Code doing something that you want saved and changed on your website, then just ask it, commit and push. You just need to know those words. Commit is like save, and push is like put it on my website. All right, so it's saying the workflow will run and deploy your site to aniketpanjwani.github.io.personal site. All right, so now we've got our GitHub repository set up, and we need to just enable GitHub Pages. So I'm going to do that. So you go to your repository, then you go to settings, then you click this button to go on Pages. You set the source as GitHub Actions. And then once you do that, come back here to Actions. You might see some failed deployments from before. That's okay. Just go and click the latest one and then click Rerun Jobs. Let's say Rerun All Jobs, Rerun. And now it's going to build and then deploy the website. All right, so we see here the website is deployed. So let's go see if it works. All right, so it looks like all the images are broken, but otherwise it works. So I don't know anything about code. Again, we'll just go tell Claude Code deployed, but all the images are broken, and just let it fix it, right? This is the general pattern that you can do for a lot of basic stuff, and making a website qualifies as basic. You can just copy and paste whatever error you get. All right, so looks like the images are fixed. Let's copy this and go take a look again. All right, so the images are all fixed. It looks good. And so the next step, the last step, is how do we make this live on your actual domain? So what I use for my domains is namecheap.com. And so I think my website is somewhere on here, my domain. I would recommend it for your domain too. It's decent enough. You can get yourname.com or whatever. And then just go here and say, help me set it up on my own domain, aniketpanjwani.com. I think it's with Namecheap. Tell me what to do. All right, so we got some instructions from Claude Code on what to do next. So we have to go to GitHub now to this URL. So let's do that. Go here, settings, pages, custom domain, aniketpanjwani.com. Press save. Now I've got it set here, but it says domain does not resolve to the GitHub Pages server. So now we need to go to Namecheap and set that. All right, so I'm here in the settings. Then you go over here to advanced DNS, and then this is where you need to set these various records. So we need to set these 4 records and then this record. So let me do that. All right, these records are set. So we'll have to wait a few seconds. We can go back here, wait a few seconds, and then try checking again, and we'll see if it works. All right, so here it is. Looks pretty good. Got everything set up. aniketpanjwani.com. Got YouTube. I can click this. Look at that. That sexy man, Abdu. Okay, got over here. Local CMS, payload newsletter. Got all my links. LinkedIn. Go connect with me on LinkedIn. My background. Got some papers. Does that go to the right website? Oh, look at that. I've got a publication in an economics journal. How about that? You should trust me. I'm a doctor. So I hope this was a helpful overview on how to end-to-end make your own website. And if you've got any questions, feel free to join here in my school server, the AI MBA, which I'll link down below, where you can ask any question you want on agentic coding, on this project in particular. And if you encounter any troubles in trying to make your own website with just natural language and Claude Code, then let me know in here. Until next time, see you guys.